Former ICAC Commissioner Timothy Tong faced yet another grilling session by legislators today. He was asked to explain why there were inconsistencies between the testimony he gave in an earlier hearing and an independent review done by the anti-graft agency. And yet again, Tong was criticised for dodging the questions. Flanked by his lawyers, Timothy Tong faced members of the Public Accounts Committee once again over allegations of overspending under the same oath he took in May. But it was under that very oath that testimony he gave back then came out different from an independent review into his case. And with hundreds of thousands of dollars in public money involved and the anti-corruption body's reputation on the line, lawmakers were determined to get to the bottom of it. But Tong seemed just as determined to defend himself against the allegations by giving the lawmakers ambiguous answers. On inconsistencies about a trip to Yunnan and Beijing, he was found to have taken extra time out to visit places for pleasure.
Did you apply to the chief executive beforehand for an early departure by 2 days? In relation to an early departure by 2 days, the IRC said they did not find the application. I cannot rule out the possibility that it was an oversight. What do you mean? I can only answer in accordance with the report because I cannot remember every single thing I did. How can you say that you can only recall what happened based on the report? You were the commissioner of the ICAC for 5 years, and it is intolerable. You're wasting our time.
In other answers, it was more of a riddle. Lawmaker Alan Leung asked if the decision to claim alcohol expenses separately and not under the usual claims form was made by the Community Relations Director Julie Mu instead of himself.
By logic, it's not my idea. It was not my idea. But does it mean that it necessarily had to be someone's idea? I cannot be sure. Where's the logic? Where's the logic? So it's the fault of society? No, but it's not your idea, it's not anyone's idea, but there was an approval. It has to be logical. Well, but it's not my idea. Does it mean that it's someone else's idea?
The hearing will continue tomorrow with current ICAC Chief Simon Pei and the Community Relations Director to give their testimonies. Many workers have more than one mandatory Provident Fund account when they switch jobs, and they don't always merge the accounts because of the paperwork. Now, the Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Authority has come up with a new and simplified way to allow those with more than one account to manage their money more easily. Jenny Lam has the story.
More than 2.5 million people contribute towards the MPF scheme, and according to the Mandatory Provident Fund Schemes Authority, about 180,000 of them have at least 4 accounts. In fact, they found someone who has as many as 32 different accounts. People we talked to today say they find it troublesome to have to fill in all these forms in order to merge their accounts. When workers quit a job, the money that has been contributed is automatically transferred to their personal account. So for each new job, there's a new account. To simplify the procedures, the MPF Schemes Authority has come up with a new form which lists the names of various trustees. To merge all their accounts, workers have to indicate the different plans they have already joined. Then they will select one plan where the money will go and send the form to the relevant company. The MPF Schemes Authority will send the new form to people who have 4 accounts or more. Others can download it from the authority's website. Once you have submitted the form, it takes 3 to 4 weeks to merge the accounts. And a word of advice, the value of funds fluctuates, so the best strategy is to watch the prices and submit the form when you think they are working in your favour. Jenny Lam, TVB News.
The Legal Aid Department has approved 7 applications for assistance from the families of the victims of last year's Lama ferry disaster. They want compensation from those they believe responsible. Stephanie Choi reports.
39 people lost their lives in the October 1st disaster last year. Relatives of the victims are seeking compensation with the help of the Legal Aid Department and lawyers. Those they believe should be held responsible include the captains of the 2 vessels involved, Sea Smooth and Lama 4, the victim's employer, Hong Kong Electric, Hong Kong and Kowloon Ferry, and the Marine Department. The Legal Aid Department says out of the 29 applications it's received, 7 have been approved while the others are still pending. Albert Ho, who's helping some of the victims' families, says he would file their appeals in the coming weeks. He thinks the independent commission looking into the disaster has found enough evidence against the Marine Department, including poor safety measures and the lack of life vests. Ho believes that if strict regulations were in place, the vessels wouldn't be so poorly equipped. He thinks that may be the reason why the captain's neglect resulted in such serious damage. But Ho pointed out that the division of responsibility could become an issue, and seeking compensation from government departments rarely ends in success. He says that if the accused refused to take responsibility, the court could simply focus on the matter of responsibility. Still, Ho vowed to do his best for the victims and file their appeals as soon as possible. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
The chief executive has appointed a new undersecretary for Commerce and Economic Development. 49-year-old Godfrey Leung headed the Construction Industry Council before joining the government and worked for the Trade Development Council for 15 years before that. He will assume office on October 16th. All right, Tony, over to you for sports.
Yeah, we're going to start with sailing again, and it's down to the wire in the America's Cup. Well, Oracle Team USA did it again. They pulled off another victory against Emirates Team New Zealand to ensure the America's Cup will be decided in the final race early tomorrow Hong Kong time. The defending champions have recovered from a seemingly impossible 8-1 deficit to even the series at 8-all and force the winner-take-all decider. In today's race, New Zealand led by 7 seconds as they rounded the second gate, but they slowed dramatically as the boat zigzagged toward the Golden Gate Bridge. Oracle powered away after that to win their 7th race in a row by a comfortable 54-second margin. On to Major League Baseball now, and the New York Yankees' hopes of reaching the playoffs are hanging by a thread after they suffered a big defeat to the Tampa Bay Rays.
One of the biggest names in Major League Baseball, the New York Yankees, are now in danger of missing the playoffs for only the second time in 19 years. They slumped to a big defeat to the Tampa Bay Rays, who seem to be going from strength to strength. The Rays jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning to send up a 7-0 victory on the night and their 5th win in a row. The Yankees are 5 games off the second wildcard spot and will be eliminated if they lose later today and Cleveland wins.
The throw and in safely is DeJesus.
Cleveland's next result could also determine the fate of another team, in this case the Detroit Tigers. One more Tigers win or Cleveland loss will deliver a 3rd straight AL Central title for Detroit. They already booked a place in the postseason with a 4-2 win over the Minnesota Twins. Tigers starter Doug Fister struck out 7 and gave up 2 runs in more than 6 innings of play.
Speed pitch, swing and a miss at low 70s.
And over on the West Coast, Ryu Hunjin gave away just a single run as he pitched 7 solid innings to lead the Los Angeles Dodgers past the San Francisco Giants 2-1.
In football, Manchester City continued their winning ways following their thrashing of Manchester United with another comprehensive victory last night. This time their victims were Wigan, who were no match for the Light Blues in the Capital One Cup, also known as the League Cup. City cruised to a 5-0 victory to reach the next round. And Tottenham were also big winners in their opening match. Jermaine Defoe scored 2 goals to lead the Spurs to a 4-0 drubbing of Aston Villa.
And that's the news for tonight.
That's right. Good night.
Hello everyone, it was cloudy at first today before becoming fine during the day. At 5 p.m., a fresh easterly airstream was affecting the South China coastal areas. Today's temperatures ranged from 26.8 to 31.2 degrees, and the current temperature is 27.8 degrees Celsius. A trace amount of rainfall has been recorded since midnight. So Freddie, how's the weather tomorrow? Becoming cloudy, there will be a few rain patches and relatively low visibility overnight and tomorrow morning. Temperatures range from 25 to 29 degrees. Tomorrow's API is forecast at 25 to 65 and the pollution level range from low to high. The maximum UV index forecast for tomorrow will be about 10. Now, here's the latest global weather update. Cloudy in Shanghai, Taipei and Xiamen. Showers in Macau and Chengdu. Cloudy in Seoul, rain in Tokyo. Rain in Ho Chi Minh City and Manila. Showers in Kuala Lumpur and Jakarta. Cloudy in Karachi, rain in Mumbai. Sunny in Cairo, sunny intervals in Nairobi. Sunny in Brisbane and Sydney. Sunny in Toronto, sunny intervals in New York. Sunny intervals in Vancouver and Los Angeles. Cloudy in London, Paris, Amsterdam and Frankfurt. And that's the weather. Have a great evening.